Good evening. I hope you're all doing well. I wanted to kind of backtrack a little bit and go over a few of the names of parts and nomenclature, that sort of thing, of some of the stuff that you'll get with a harpoon, both from the factory and from me. There's a fair bit of confusion. This week I was answering dealer questions from two different dealers about this, and it made me start thinking, well, maybe I haven't explained it very well, and it could use some explaining. First off, the two most common things that people ask me about are adapters versus inserts, whether it's a factory one or mine. Okay, for me at least, an adapter adapts a barrel to where a barrel will fit into the gun. So it's a size down piece, kind of like if you're a mechanically inclined and use sockets, you'll use an adapter to adapt to a different size. So this is a factory adapter that was for 45, 50, 51, 58 cal barrels for the first gen. Well, then the second gen came along with the Magnum cartridges. This would no longer work. It's too short. So I started making an adapter where the threads are about middle. That kind of gives you some idea of what's going on. It's sticking out that far, so it makes up for how much longer the Magnum cartridge is. Still an adapter. When a barrel goes into it, 45, 50, 51, 58 cal, the adapter allows the barrel to be at the right point where this thing seats in, gets onto that O-ring, and at that point, you know, you've got a good seal. So to me, that is an adapter. So you have adapters for the 45, 50, 51, 58 cal. The 72 cals screw right in and have no adjustments. So you screw it in, when the cartridge goes in, it touches an O-ring right there, it's all good. Well, I'm sorry, it doesn't touch the O-ring, the insert touches the O-ring, and you're good, you have a seal. So why is this one adjustable? Well, this one's adjustable because the barrel inside there has no chamber. So you can try really hard to push a 45 cal pellet into this and you're not going to be able to. So what the chamber basically is either the plastic insert or my metal insert that is screwed into the end of the Harpoon cartridge, just regular or Magnum, whichever it is. And at that point, that's kind of acting as a chamber. Well, that means you may need to adjust this in all the way if it's a short pellet, or out a little bit if it's a long pellet, and then use the lock nut to lock it in place. Okay, so we're on inserts. Let's talk about inserts a bit more. This is an AEA black insert for 72 cal. It screws into the end of the cartridge, and at that point, there's never any interference. You could have a 6-inch long, you could have a 9-inch long, you can have an arrow sticking down into this, and because it doesn't actually touch anything inside the barrel, just an outer O-ring seal, it doesn't matter. So there is no adjustment back and forth. You screw it in, you're done. That's all you got to do. Now, when I got in there and started looking at these, I found that the shot shells were really, really tight, and pellets couldn't go in at all. So I got to measuring, and 72 cal for the Zeus and 72 cal for this barrel is 18.5 millimeter or 0.7283 inches. This is not. So this is smaller than the inside of that barrel. That's why I came up with these red inserts. I only made it red, anodized it red to set it apart. These on the inside are 18.5 or 0.7283. To make it even more confusing, I have these on the website that are also called inserts for 72 cal. This was something AEA asked me to make over a year ago. What happened is I made barrels for the Harpoon a little over a year ago. They loved the idea of 72 cal barrels. They rushed a bunch over here, and the barrels were about 1.5 inches too short. They had rushed the barrels over, but they had not rushed the Magnum cartridges. So with a regular cartridge, it wasn't long enough. It was about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches too short. AEA requested me to make these. I made these. It went inside here, caught onto the O-ring, and then the cartridge was screwed in here. It took care of the problem. This has caused a great deal of confusion, and what I'm probably going to do is just pull these off my website If for some reason you actually need these because you're using the shorter cartridges with an AEA barrel, let me know. I'm going to have a box full of them. It's just probably not something I'm going to readily sell anymore. Okay, what else is here? Inserts can look very, very different. Inserts to me is it's being inserted into something. This is a 58 cal insert. 58 cal pellet goes down inside there. 72 cal insert. I think this is some 45 cal inserts. They screw in, pellet goes down inside there. So difference between insert and adapter. Okay. What else? There's some other stuff coming pretty soon. For me, these beehive barrels, this is an insert because the only thing it touches, it's a friction fit. It fits into the gun and there is no wiggle room, but all it really attaches to is the end of the cartridge. So even though it's over 4 inches long, it's about 4.5 inches long and holds 357 pellets, and I'm fixing to have 25 cal doing the same thing, it's not an adapter. It doesn't adapt to anything. It's an insert. It screws into the Harpoon cartridge. The whole thing drops down inside the gun and you fire 3 pellets every time you pull the trigger. So there's some more stuff coming pretty soon. I'm fixing to test the needler. Another thing I'm fixing to test is there's fixing to be a gun called an Alarmo, which is a European model of this where they've cut it off right about there, which means all your threads are gone. Well, if your threads are gone, you're not screwing any of these adapters in or the 72 cal barrels in. All you've got is a Magnum cartridge sticking out about 1/8 of an inch. Well, if you find yourself buying one of those, keep in mind anything that I have that are barrels like the 68 cal inserts, the 72 cal inserts, the beehive barrels, those can still be screwed to the end. I'm even thinking about making some standalone barrels that'll screw just to these and have a chamber inside them to where every time you drop one in, you can have a preloaded barrel. It makes it really, really quick to fire. So the more of these you have that are all preloaded with barrels, the quicker you can change out and make your next shot and your next shot. But to that end, that Alarmo, I realize it's a European thing. They made it for that market. They need to have less power, that sort of thing over there. It can be done with the Alarmo over here too. It can be a noisemaker. You can attach barrels to it, but its intent is to be a noisemaker. And I've also seen people talk about putting it up against like skin and firing. It's a tremendous amount of force. You do that on yourself accidentally, you're probably going to hurt yourself. If you do it against somebody who's coming at you, it's probably going to hurt them. So what this is this is just short cartridges. This isn't even the Magnum cartridges yet. And I'm going to go to double barrel and I'm going to point it over here at this ballistic gelatin. And keep in mind, turn it off, safety, all this is air. So a few parts falling. So I'm going to try to pull this off without turning it off. And let's see if we can get a good look at that. What has just happened there? This may be just air, but that hole goes in over 2 inches. I'd call that almost 3 inches. I want to try one more thing. I want to try standing this up. I fired one blow dart earlier, but that's not what happened just now. This huge jagged hole going down in there, and this one to a lesser degree, I mean, I think I could stick my fingers down in there real easily, is from just air. So that's why the Alarmo was on the market, to be able to either make a lot of noise or to be able to do something like that if it were pushed up against somebody. And the Magnum cartridges probably would have been 4 to 5 inches in. And again, if you screw a barrel to the end, you're getting all the same performance you did out of the Harpoon. So anyway, that is hopefully a better explanation of what is an insert and what is an adapter. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer them. Take care. Bye-bye.